Do you know who I wish I had? I wish that I had Jesse's girl. Where could I find a woman like that? What happens to those that are online dating at the moment? Don't know. I'm going a little bit theme Cotton Eye Joe tonight to let you know that you're not alone. We are getting the poker hand of fate at the moment. I'll wait for a couple more of you to get on. Fugly, our two moderators up straight away. Fugly and Dave, great to have you here. Welcome to your distraction for tonight. We've got Lucas James, not Lucas Films. We've got Grid, but not Iron. We've got Hector, the hero of Troy. We have Neville bloody Bartos, not yet, but we do have Harrison Bennett. G'day, mate. We got Leo Wanker, stuntman for life. Make sure you don't pay a cent tonight. You pay enough. None. AK, good to have you here. AK-47, Kalashnikov. We've got Jaden. How you going, mate? Joseph Barker, good to have you here, mate. And Mutsu Cow, sir, thank you very much for the support there, mate. Midway, good to have you here. If you're new to this stream team, all you need to do is put a thumbs up straight away so that the moderators, so that the locals, the community, the family, the forever channel know that you've come and joined our flock. There's no leader. It's just that I hog the mic. That's all. We've got Jaden Anderson here. We've got Drewy. We've got Kurt Jenkins. Jay Hayes from the WA, represent. It's not cerebral palsy. We've got Brendan. Good to have you here, Cobber. And we've got Sarah Brooke. G'day, mate. How you going? It's always a breath of fresh air to see we've got ladies on here too. A little bit of a litmus test, the canary in the mine shaft, so to speak. We've got Mr. Kane here. Very important. JC representing the thin blue line. Great to have you here, sir. Did you have your surgery? I mean to give you a call, but we've got a whole lot on our plates at the moment, and we're about to talk about that in a second. Leo, stop it. Stop it. Nutsu Cow, that's a two-syllable movement, a combination, if you will. Natasha, good to have you here, mate. Napoleon goes with the single hand, the clap. Not really. Toddler, good to have you here, young one. Make Oneer, 6'3 Yankee, Caleb Taylor, and Nathan Franklin. Matt Mann, not Nat Plan, which won't be happening at the moment. Simon Powell, fantastic conversation we just had, mate. It was great. It was great to hear the happiness in your voice as the conversation continued. Team, I've got to tell you, surgery on Monday, mate. Is it next Monday, JC? Or not yesterday? Lauren is here. Lovely Lauren. Hi. I'm just getting out of the bath. We'll be back soon. Slip, cake of soap goes where it's not meant to go. And try telling that to a doctor who's trying to work on someone who's dealing with that instead. We can't say that word because YouTube attacks you, and so does Facebook, etc. So, guys, when we talk about, you know what we're talking about. I'm here to give you a distraction for an hour tonight. I'm here to let you know that you're not alone, but it could really, really feel that way. I am actually here alone. I'm sitting alone. And hopefully the bandwidth of this internet tonight provides you with something that can provide that distraction, and we don't get the sound problems. We don't get the buffering, so to speak, that happens with Mr. P's computer. Just started, JJ. Yep, we've only just got on here, JJ. Where is he? Nathan, sorry, Kane Higgins. Oh, so we've got two Kanes here. That's better than the Kane, which I never got when I was at school. Billy Krask. Let's get to the point, Kaz. How much compensation does China owe the world? I'll tell you now, this is a Chinese pandemic. I don't think there's – what price could you pay? It's not the fact that I don't believe this came from someone eating aardvark. I do believe that it came from a facility. I don't believe it was deliberate. And if it was, pretty tricky. They could never pay it back. I think at this stage, as a punishment to them, they deserve, the people of China, for the rest of the world to turn around and confiscate communism from them. Take it off them. Put an umbrella of information out there. Will it start a humanitarian crisis? Yes. Are we in one now at the moment? Yes. Has China dodged a bullet with this? No, they haven't. What they've done is total isolation, which means when they take the blanket back off, we get sick again. We don't know where the end of this is, but at the moment, what I can see around the world is some are taking it seriously, more are taking it seriously now. But it feels like with those that have, those that haven't, those that have government jobs, those that have private sector jobs, it's like it's completely turned everything on its head. Mr. Hector, thank you for that, mate. Thank you for the donation. This is not necessarily a time for giving, team. It's a time for just listening and enjoying and distracting. It feels like we're all sitting at a poker table. Press like if you can, team, so YouTube understands that we have a healthy crowd here and it's worth people pushing this forward for people to get a distraction from, so to speak. It feels like we're at a poker table. It feels like all of us are sitting there. The cards have gone out and you're about to look at your cards. And what looks like a beautiful set of cards, Dave D, he's just got 3 kings. He's laughing, absolutely laughing. At the moment, he's trying to, he's going to start betting down, but he's going to put some money in the pot because he's going to start trying to look weak. But he's going to be bluffing, trying to get as much money in the pot as possible, not realizing that he's eventually going to be beaten by a straight, okay, or beaten by a flush, or Lauren has the straight and thinks she's got it. She got it off the flop. I'm not talking about an 80-year-old without bloody Viagra here. I'm talking about the 3 cards that come out. But then Kurt Jenkins, he's flopped a flush. Everyone thinks they're a winner, but the game hasn't finished. There's a turn 2, okay, and there's a turn 3, and there's a turn 4. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how it's going to pan out. We're seeing in Australia alone that it seems like we've got over 2,000 people now, but we've also got a very, very low mortality rate, which means not many people have lost their lives. But that's going to change. And then there's going to be believers. And there's going to be people that are touched by this ailment. There's going to be people that are touched economically, destroyed economically, that were in a really good place, have worked really, really hard up until now, and saving for a rainy day hasn't worked. And there's going to be people that are hit by both. We saw that today our jobless rates, our unemployment rate, I think went over 30%. Not all of that's going to bounce back. There's people that have sold shares at a time when you shouldn't. There's people getting margin calls because that is their investment. There's people that are going from pay to pay that don't know how to pay the rent, who is also the landlord who doesn't know how he's going to pay his repayment. If you don't have a job, you can't kick him out. It's an act of God. He can't pay his bank. The bank is saying he wants it now. He's saying he wants it now off them. I think it's time to go to Rebel Sport and buy yourself a nice size baseball bat, because they've taken the guns off us, and that is the one equaliser between a 50-year-old man and a 22-year-old buck who's just been released from jail. Isn't that the stupidest idea you've ever heard of? Our government is looking like releasing fugitives, those that have impulsive tendencies and habits that disrespected everyone in order to get in jail, are looking at releasing them at the time where we're the most precarious, the most desperate. That doesn't make sense. So it feels like even if doesn't hit us hard, the economy is absolutely going to tear our ass out again, like the first day in jail. Try those statistics. I'll put my hands together, and now is the time of spirituality, just to think, I really am in your corner, team, and I'm really hearing individual stories every day. Yet at the same time, there's these nuggets of beauty, which is our soldiers that have gone today, that are at Kapooka right now getting ready to get their lesbian haircut tomorrow. And at the moment, one of the safest jobs you could possibly have, a government job that is here to be the first line of defense domestically. It's crazy. Jason, good to see you here, mate.
Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton's ringing. Wait 2 seconds. Mate, you're on loudspeaker, but you're also online. We're streaming at the moment.
I just want to know if you found my emails.
I'm going to keep 1.5 meters away from those at the moment. You know, they're bloody toxic for you as well.
I seem to have misplaced 33,000 emails. I don't know if you've seen them or not.
No, but we found the other 2 million that you didn't talk about.
Statistically, you've got more chance of dying testifying against me than you have of COVID-19.
Well, marriage has killed a lot more than that. All right, mate, I'll give you a call after.
All right,
see ya. Everyone has got that person that they go to bounce information off, and that's mine. The one name that you can't say while you're on a stream before it starts to eat and go to shit. Have we got Madison here, have we? Madison County is itching for another tattoo, or is my tattoo itchy? That itch that tattoos have is a killer, isn't it? If I got another tattoo now, it'd have to be something to do with Rome, or it would be my grandfather that I never met. His watch, he worked in the railway, so he had a regimental number, not regimental, but, you know, he had a service number just like I do as a soldier. Jason Bowden, good to have you here, mate. Is that you, Berto? Is that my buddy from the 2nd Battalion Royal Australian Regiment that was in my section in East Timor? I don't want your money, mate. I just want your attention. I love the dude. This guy, if that is you, Bowdo, I'm gonna tell him a story about you because we're distracting people at the moment. Hey, Jack Turtle, how you going, mate? Good to have you here. Don't scratch your tattoo, folks. Don't do it. Otherwise, it might look like a completely different being. We've also got Amy here. No worries, Kurt. Keep your head up. Wattle Grove, Battle Grove down there. Used to be Holsworthy. Bowdo Jace was in my section. Lovely bloke, you know, was into motorbikes. Met his lovely lady, Karen. And when he met her, Karen, her dad said the one thing he can't do is ever let her on a motorbike. So he puts her on the back of the bike, the Ducati, gives a bit of the gas, whop, 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 whop. She does a back somersault and lands on her knees in the drive-through of Red Rooster, I believe it is. Skags her knees up. Their pants that her parents had just bought her for a birthday. And he's got to go back, wait 2 seconds, overflowing stage 3 Pitt, who is infantry. Just go to MOP 4. You can't do that for very long, mate. How uncomfortable is that? Gas. Not too cow, sir. I love the colour of your jib. But, mate, thank you. That's military dollars coming into to support the channel right there. Thank you, mate. So Boundo gets his missus to jettison off the back of the bike and then has to go back, and she can't explain how she trashed her pants on the road with a new boyfriend. Okay, you're either being on the back of a motorbike or you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing on your birthday, young lady. Which one was it? But he went away. When you do a shit outfield in the military, in the jungle, the close country, etc., you can get lost real quick. And I'm talking real quick. You know, it's like an 18-year-old girl going to Hell's Angels bikie club and then coming out still an angel. It ain't going to happen unless you're one of their angels. And he decides, you know what, I want to go and do a shit. And I know there's no real enemy out there. We're in training, but we're in close country as well. So I'm going to go for a little bit of a walk down that hill. I'm going to go and drop off a brown one, you know, go and drop a nugget off, not a chicken nugget. And then I'm going to turn around and come back. Goes down there, enters some world of tranquility as the ration pack takes forever to get out of you, Bal, and turns around and, which way did I come from? Oh, Jesus. So here he is, a little bit looser on the load, but has got no idea where to go to. And I think it took him over an hour to find us. Instead of coming back uphill, he ended up walking across Hillendale, across water. You know, why would you go across a creek? You're going, I didn't go across a creek to get where I was. Took him over an hour, and then he found us by absolute accident. And these things can happen to you, and every soldier's got an embarrassing story we don't like to regurgitate. And that's Jace Bowdo. Des Kaz, I'm actually eating nuggets. There you go, Fugly. All right, as long as they're not brown on the inside, you're laughing. Lauren, okay, Mandy and I were talking about the tattoo suckage this week. What's going on there? Madison, really, I suppose my rib tattoo isn't too big as it wasn't that bad. I mean, true, Joshua, something like that. Training continues the same, but you're away from other platoons. So the good thing about the military is you are going to keep, it is the number one priority. It can't stop under any circumstances. They might have some units that are a little bit quarantined from each other, offset their training. So if one goes down, all platoons that can get quarantined within Kapooka, But if that's the case, we still need people ready. They're still recruiting at the same rate. They still need you on that wall. You can't just say we feel sick. Yeah? And if something happens to our soldiers, we just recruit more. It doesn't back off. It increases, and that's it. Yeah. Cheers, big ears. It is Beardo. Jaden, there you go, mate. What a question. Kneecap. Not sure which that one was. JC, another reason I joined the RAF, we took toilets with us. The toilets we've ever used are only ever at defensive positions, and they're made of metal. And many a soldier's got the tattoo of the metal toilet at a defensive position, which is on a permanent location, that is either burnt into their ass by the heat of summer, and for some reason we only ever put it in the sun where the flies can get the best spot, springboard onto your dot, or it's in winter where the frost means you stand up and the whole thing's stuck to your skin. It's horrible. But it's all better than doing a shit in the jungle where the flies and the mosquitoes have been waiting an eon for that white privilege butt skin and the inverted drumstick to come down from heaven that allows them to go and have a bit of a... Okay, Stoddy, good to have you here. Medic! He's our onboard medic at the moment. Did a PFA run with gastro. I got the job done, but it wasn't pretty. I've had gastro for years. You start to enjoy it after a while, but not with the toilet paper rationing. If I had gastro on a bidet, that'd be a bloody brown fountain right now. You get through a lot more books when you've got a lower bowel disease. JC, a bloke died on an exercise I was on by throwing a cigarette butt into a toilet he was sitting on. Died of severe burns. Really? But even your parents would deny your existence after that one. Holy shit, so to speak. Team, we're going to start putting some videos out tomorrow. One's already almost done now. And basically what it's about is distractions for you. It is going to be binge-worthy things that I have found where I will give 4 or 5 minute videos, maybe more, random shit to distract you, but I will give you various different topics of things that I've found for you, and you just go down to the link of what you prefer. I'll let you know whether it's something to share watching with children, whether it's something that is teaching you how to cook at home with a wok, whether it is something that is tin hat, conspiracy theory, or you name it. It could be something to do with animals. Ants Canada, fantastic channel, Ants Canada. For any of those that ever thought that they want something that's a little less hard work as a fish tank, think about ants. Amazing. If you doubt me, watch the channel. You'll get addicted. It's ASMR for your eyes. JC, yeah, mate, we were in Shoalwater Bay. Google it, RAF mechanic from memory, fat old dude with glasses. Well, isn't that most of them? Dave D, we're at Hector. I'm doing PFA Monday too. No, hey, keep your distance, Dave. You're an officer now. Stop going over. Oh, because Hector wants to be one too, doesn't he? Tim Doust, I enjoyed the Army organisation vids, platoon and section, etc. Yeah, I can do that again because we lost that, didn't we? As a matter of fact, I might still have that in the old videos. Lauren, a few places, Nick. I don't take any clients these days. I've got a waiting list too long. Lauren has had a significant amount of time in the tattoo industry, and she was in a place, being in Townsville, where there was no limit to the amount of money that was getting spent on it. I'll give you an example. They even, in Townsville, the 2nd Battalion, where I was, 2nd Battalion Royal Australian Regiment, 2nd None, they even flew an Asian tattooist over from Thailand, and they just let him live in the barracks for a while for free, tattooing people. He brought his kid over and just tattooed people, made a squillion, and then went home. Smart man. Never got tired. And then there was no aircon in those rooms. Full Metal Jacket, I'll be back. No worries, mate. 20 years plus, it's a long time. There's no long service leave for tattooists, is there, Lauren? Pietro, what advice would you give for Air Force fitness joining? Mate, the sit-up that you do to get out of bed should be enough. Other than that, it's do you fit into your uniform, and that's enough. Can you play volleyball? It's below military, mate, and below the military standard to get in is fairly low as well. Mate, if you train just to be a fit human being, practical and functional movement, i.e. CrossFit, go to any gym, do a 6-week camp or whatever, let them know that you joined the military, etc. You'll come out of there surpassing the standard. The hardest thing is when people go for standards is they often go and train at their own pace, and you rarely get pushed too hard by civilian PTs because they want you to come back. That's unlike being in the military where they'll push you till you vomit within a 40-minute time space, that is. But if people train by themselves, it's almost impossible to train yourself at a level that someone else could train you at, because you will not have the discipline, the physical fortitude, the need, the will, or the requirement to be able to push yourself at a rate that an Olympian would, special forces guy or gal would. So it's always better to pay someone to get the job done properly. It's like body armor. It ensures success. John Doe. How you going, mate? What's your cow? Been in New Zealand there. Hi, I'm the guy that got permanently declined from the New Zealand Defence Force for security, thinking of moving back to AU and trying ADF in a few years. Worth trying or no chance? Well, absolutely. Absolutely. But now is a pretty bad time. Now would be a really bad time to try and come back over to Australia. At the moment, I don't think you'd even be allowed to. When you come over here, I'll tell you a quick story. And I hope there's no one from the New Zealand Army that's watching this at the moment. Because of the scales and pay and conditions, etc., between the New Zealand Army and the Australian Army, when I went on exchange over there, we were actually told before we went over there by the commanding officer, you are not to speak about your pay and conditions inside the Australian Army, because if you do, I won't have a New Zealand Army. Everyone will get out and they'll go across the Dutch, and we won't have a military anymore. They go, we pay them as much as we can, and they're underpaid as well, the commanding officers, majors, captains, etc. So if you get in the Australian military, when the time is right, you'll be laughing, mate. Air Force, Navy, whichever. As long as you're not a cabin boy, you'll be pretty happy with your decision. Snowy. Lauren, don't suppose I could enlist your services, design me a tattoo. Lauren's not about the money. She's never been about the money. Lauren's about the art. She's an artist, and tattooing is just one form of her art. She's got American companies that get her to do designing, professionally. So I don't know if Lauren even has the time, even amongst this pandemic, to get it done, mate. Cranky. G'day, Kaz, mate. Glad I could make a stream. My university is basically fully online now. All the gyms closed. Feels weird being stuck at home. What about being a fighter pilot? Petro, you've got to be real young. Oh, and they're very fit, mate, cardio-wise especially, because you've got to be able to take the G-forces, etc. And you have to be young. You have to get in young, or you have to have already been a pilot, etc., for them to get you to the stage and have the longevity and sustainability within that role. It is extremely competitive. You can ask Paulie on that one. His son is in the Air Force. Joy wants to go to the Air Force too. And, man, I tell you, it's a hard one. Had to put the games on hold. I've never understood why we train so hard to look buff, look big, but then don't compete in anything. It's an absolute waste of effort. Is it because in the absence of actual hard work, people go to the gym to give the impression that they're hard workers? I don't know. I went to the gym, but that was because I'd been into CrossFit, cardio, muscular endurance, and was quite good at it and quite fit. But then Bluey Wernham, one of my buddies, got me into the gym, and I started going to the gym. And from there, I had actual strength for my size and height, etc. But I used to think to myself, at least I'm in a job which is going to test my physical strength to the limits. It's going to test me as a commander, etc. But I see so many civilians that don't play any sport whatsoever, but train in a way that will give them long-term injuries, and give the perception of bulk, but nowhere really it's simply training for the sake of training. If you're going to do that, then don't be as big, because I reckon to girls it could look just as sexy to a guy that's wiry but extremely capable, can run like buggery, can do dips, can do chin-ups. If you get that as hypertrophy, which is the actual body shaping and building of muscle on your skeletal system, and get the V, the inverted corn chip, so to speak, wide shoulders, narrow hips, you can get all that as a byproduct of reps between 4 and 12. And if you can keep it in that, and that's why you see people on the heave beams, dip beams, whatever, with a weight between their legs. A lot of people don't know why they actually do that. They just do it for the sake of it because it looks good. When you train people and they're doing more than 12 reps and they've got that weight there, you go, either add some more weight to it, or do you know what you're trying to do? You're just going for as many as you can get capability-wise, but is there a functional reason why you need it? Fitness is a funny industry, and the army for the longest time, didn't train very well. We trained for the sake of training, but there was no real outcome. Nothing was particularly targeted. The British Army, they overtrain in cardio. You're like, dude, you're just going to smoke your back, smoke your legs, smoke your shins. You're just destroying yourselves. Can run, but Stickman, your streams aren't showing up for me lately. Team, you may have to tick the bell again. I don't know what's going on. Madison, she's got another piercing as well. The body can be art. JC, team, can I ask you all to support a veteran suffering from incurable brain cancer? Subscribe to his channel, Willie Beating Cancer. Show him some support from in the trenches. I'll go and have a look at that after. Can you please text that to me, JC? And I'll see what I can do. Kaz Madison is asking about the photo competition. Yeah, honestly, I've got all the photos for that. I can put that video out as soon as possible. It's just that everything sort of went haywire in the last 10 days when all of this virus stuff came out. And what was it? What was the video that we had to do? Yeah, the answer is yes, absolutely we can, because I want to give a Fitbit to the winner. Train 155 Elegant Games. Hey, how you going, mate? I'm going well, mate. Never really worked legs. You'd laugh at me, Train 155 Elegant Games. Good to have you here, mate. Make sure you subscribe. We're happy to have you here. Team, for the longest time, I got teased for having legs that were a little bit smaller than a seagull's. And the reason why I never really went into it was because I've never had knee problems except for once, and that was due to an incident that occurred when I jumped into a bear pit that was not as deep as it could have been on the bayonet assault course at the School of Infantry. But other than that, no ankle injuries. I've had Achilles tendonitis, okay, I've had that too, and a bit of shin splints. But other than that, I've been apples. So the last thing I wanted to do, bloody legs that a woman could want. They just don't look good below the hips of a guy. Geez, we've got a lot of comments coming here. Got a tat on my foot. I heard that hurts like a mongrel. I'm subscribed. You can just call me Train if you want. I'll do that. Train 155. I'll do that. Train. Choo-woo! That's my pops train fog watch. Now, he would have looked at that more than 100 times a day. I never got to meet him, and they reckon he was the best of the casuals. It's a sad thing when the people that you would have loved the most, that would have been the proudest of you, that would have been the best mentors, never get a chance to give you those lessons. Yep. Jay Hayes, 20 or 30, Kane. Make up your mind. Not sure what that one's about. Matt, apparently that is the thickest part. There wasn't any clamps. Oh, okay, we're talking about earrings. Can you see my message, please, Kaz? Where is it? Can you put it down again there, Hector? Team, if you have a message and I don't get to it, all you got to simply do is click and copy your own message, and then you just put it in again, and I'll get to it. Yep. Because at the moment, I'm trying to keep up to date. I'm trying to respect everyone's at the same time. Kaz, I got 30 sit-ups done. That's only half what you need, bro. 64 is the cutoff. I don't know why it goes to 100, because 64 is the perfect score for sit-ups. No one fails after 64. And if you do between 64 and 100, and you're not very good on cardio, and you're actually not that good at the sit-ups, the hip flexor that it is, what it can do is can put undue torment, okay, on and make you compensate by using your legs to get up instead of your abs. And then from there, you can shake like a happy woman on her anniversary and then end up failing the run. So sometimes we won't remember if you stop at 65, but we will remember if you fail the run. There's a bit of a tactic there on test day. I'll still shake my head at you if you don't do the 100, but who cares if I shake my head at you if you still pass. Very nearly only had one pierced nipple. Oh, Jesus. This is really going crazy. Snowy, Kaz, have you ever thought of doing a series based on fitness and training that is military orientated? Look, I have. I started doing free PT for a while, but like anything, I feel like I'm a natural born promise maker, but don't actually maintain those promises, because I have a hard time saying no to people. And then I forget that I've also got limited attention span and limited time in between answering phones on the red phone, which is my family and friends, and the bat phone, okay, which is you guys on Patreon, So in between those and trying to answer all your comments and make videos, 2 or 3 times a week, and also getting some sleep, and then spending about 37 seconds on not Modern Warfare, on Battlefield 5, it doesn't leave me a lot. That's why I also look like a half-sucked mango, or like a prawn that's been on the House of Wok, because I'm losing too much weight. Pietro, by the way, I'm 13, and I'm wondering whether if I could please have some tips on how to get fit. Just play sports, mate. 13, you've got plenty of time, and your body's moving slow. You've got plenty of time to grow into yourself, mate. I wouldn't worry about it, and it's going to be a different world that you grow into. Just be active. Less iPad, less computer, less Xbox, PlayStation, whichever. Less sitting around on phones. Swimming, sport, fun. Fun is the key. And then a byproduct of that can be fitness. Same deal. For many, many years, I thought going after the ladies was the tactic. Go out, buy yourself some clothes. The newer, the better, because then you don't have to iron them. Then go and do some fitness, get the pump on, get the testosterone going. Kaboom, kaboom. Wall Street's about to open. And then you go out, and it doesn't matter what you've done. Most women are impossible to please, because it comes down to their timing, their time of month as well. Whether they're in a position where their body's saying, go out and find someone, or whether it's no one has a chance with me at the moment, but I'm just out with my friends. So just go out, be the best version of yourself, be in areas where ladies are, and it just works itself out. Wait a sec, 2 seconds, guys. Hey, hello.
Hi, did you call me?
2 seconds. I just wanted to call you quickly to say, hey, I am fine for Ali to come here. I want her to come here, but I just thought it'd be nice for her to have you pick her up and go to school. Yeah, I didn't want you to think that I don't want to.
crossed my mind.
Yeah, because it kills me when I haven't got her.
You can take her if you want.
No. She was really excited about you. Okay.
Okay.
I'm online.
It never even crossed my mind.
Okay, I'm online at the mail. Got to get going.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
wait. Sorry about that, team. My little girl wants to go to school with her mum tomorrow. It's one of the last days with one of the last kids at the school. Sometimes it makes you feel like you're a bad parent because you're letting your kids still go to school when they're saying no. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm talking to you guys right now. Right now, the emblem on the slouch hat, that's the Skippy badge. That's only one or two badges that are earned, okay, in the Australian Army, other than SASR and Commandos, of course. You know, where you don't get it until you've actually finished your initial employment training. That's a Skippy badge. Royal Australian Regiment. Awesome. The tip of the spear. So the little ones of school, you know, we're here to talk to each other, to keep ourselves a bit distracted, despite the fact that we can comment about the world's activities, what's happening right now. You're not alone. That's what this is about today. You're not alone. Can we get a thumbs up? How many people are in a house right now by themselves? And if you've got a dog or a cat with you or a bird, I still mean by yourself. You don't have another significant other, you don't have a child, you're at home by yourself. Because that's the reason we do these sort of things. And sometimes people feel alone despite the fact they're with their family. This is for your mental health. This is for your breath of fresh air. This is for your escape, your distraction. Well, my little girl, it wouldn't make sense to pull her out of school prematurely when there's not many kids there, you know, and have her sitting at home completely distracted. And then, hey, Sticky, how you going? Kurt, okay. Lachlan, there you go. Michael Stott, medic. So I need her to have a little bit of, she hasn't got a brother or sister. She hasn't got a dog. I want to get her a dog now, but it's probably not the good time to do it, is it? Or is it the best time to do it? Who knows? Yeah, it's just for her resilience. I want to let her go a little bit longer. We've weighed up the risks, so to speak, and we're gonna roll the dice on that one. Yeah, we're not taking her to places. We're not taking her to old people's homes where she can hurt them. We're keeping our social distancing. But something I don't do and something I don't like is panickers. If someone panics for themselves, that's a scary thing, because that tells you when the chips really hit the table that they're going to be scrambling over you like a person drowning to safety to be the person that gets on the life raft. And you've got to be real conscious of those people, because they can be very selfish. And if they're doing it already in Australia, if we've got anyone here that's not Australian, can you let us know in comments? You know, because this is a global channel as well. It's just that our time zone allows us to speak to each other now. If you know someone that is panicking now, then you need to keep your eye on them. You need to help them, because it's going to get 10 times worse, and they're going to get 10 times worse. And they might get to the stage where an actual permanent, a PTSD, if you will, can come from this, a mental trauma, something that can cause them to be, what's the word, Lauren, agoraphobic or whatever, where they don't want to go outside, where they become, look for the worst in everything. We're seeing people getting around like the world doesn't, like they've got a pair of gloves on, so everything's safe now. You go, dude, everything you put on those gloves, including your hands, is still going to transfer to your face that you don't even realize you're doing. Yeah. Snowy, anyone got any resources on YouTube for people looking to join the Navy? The missus has her assessment day next Tuesday and is freaking out over not knowing much about it. Well, this is the deal, Snowy. If your missus is going to go and join the Navy, one, she's safe. She's not going to be a cabin boy. But she needs to just do a research on what she wants to do. Again, like the Army, 3 choices. What sort of ship do you want to be on? Do you want to be on a warship? Do you want to be on a support ship? Do you want to be on a hospital ship? Do you want to be on a submarine? Okay, is she fit or is she not? Does she think she's fit or is she fit? What are the considerations, administration considerations? Is she willing to be posted away? There's a whole lot of mindsets that they're going to ask her, and they're going to ask her, why Navy? Why not Air Force? Why not Army? What is it about this? Why do you want to join the Navy? What is it about it? What is the reason for her? Is it a job for her? Is it a career for her? Or is it a calling? If she can answer all these questions, she's fine. She's nervous because she just doesn't want to fail. And I get that totally, 100%. So almost everything applies for the Navy as it does for the Air Force, as it does for the Army. You just change a couple of names and ask her to do a little bit of research on some of the boats. Do you know what you should do is go and get her to watch the USS Indianapolis, the documentary on that, and then she's going to go to Air Force or Army instead. That is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. I might put it in the video that I'm making, for the watch list for you guys in links. That is a really horrible one, and that's about a USS flagship that was carrying components that went for the bomb that was landed on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It was a top secret mission, and off Guam, they sunk in water, beautiful tap water, so you live longer, and they got absolutely munched. It was 15 minutes past 12 at night when they got hit. In less than, I think it was 8 minutes, between 8 and 13 minutes, the boat was on the bottom. And these people were in the water for 4 days with no one knowing they were there, Indianapolis, and the sharks went to town on them. There's Dan Carlin does an amazing version of the story where he puts creative license in there too. And to think out of desperation, there was people that literally took their life vest off and just swam down, knowing the sharks would get them, and they just gave themselves to the sharks just to end it. When you hear that and you're driving, you don't want your kids in there because some of the language that comes out is like Tourette's. It's amazing. What's going on here? Is Jaden going crazy at something? What's happening? Hector, where's that question? Did I answer your question, Hector? Ain't no sunshine, now she's gone. IQ Nick, g'day, mate. How you going? Just me and the cat. Welcome, kitty. Bum, 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 bum. Imagine how good a chicken leg would go from KFC right now. Just one. Just to keep you hanging for that skin. Imagine if you could buy skin apples, where it's those that go, I don't like the skin on my chicken. So it gets rolled up in just a big ball of skin that you can eat like an apple of cholesterol. Where is he? Hector. Kaz, what do you think about the schools online learning switchover? I'm a bit concerned about my HSC. Look, at the end of the day, man, I think this is going to come down to maturity, not excuses. I don't think the society is going to accept excuses for people, depending on how long this goes for. This is going to be an opportunity for you to actually do better, for you to get the subjects, do the research, look online, get taught by YouTube and other sources of information on the subjects you're talking about. You'll probably do bloody better on those subjects. And we know that the subjects that are most important is maths and English. It is a crime that schools allow students in year 11 and 12 to not do mathematics, a crime. If you're not doing maths, then chances are all it's about is keeping you off the street. That's it. Train is back. There we go. We've got the Claymore here. M18A1. Reliability and lethality. 700 balls and 4 legs. That's how we start ambushes. Billy, Kaz, try the chicken at Paddy's on Palm Beach, Queensland. Mate, come on, you're giving me an impossible task. Well, we're not even allowed to go to Queensland. They're about to shut the borders. How about Australia just turns around and says, we're a dictatorship for the next year. There is no opposition party. There's one party. They absorb the opposition party, and there's only a federal system. No states. I'm going to have to say it. Fuck it off. No states. I don't give a shit what state you're from. We need to be one nation. You know? Get shit done. Stop people arguing back and forth between this state gets this state gets that. Victoria kids not at school. New South Wales they are. Trent, g'day mate. How you going? Do we have any new subscribers on here today? If so, make yourself known. Ask a question and we will answer it. We're at the 45-minute mark. Mr. P, you haven't reminded me yet. Grumpy, go have a sleep. Where is he? Is Grumpy on? I tried to ring him today. G'day, buddy. How you going? I tried to ring you today, mate, but you didn't answer. It was amazing. I just picked up the phone. Lucky to see the post. Good to have you here, mate. Miscellaneous. Will the virus hinder my application? No. Won't boot camp be considering a mass gathering? Look, you'll have to train by yourself, mate. Miscellaneous. And there's nothing wrong with that because you know what? When you go for special forces training, the expectation is you train alone because you're not allowed to work together. You're not allowed to use each other, when you go on selection courses, etc. It's to see what do you do on the day where it's cold, on the day that's raining, when you don't want to get up. And we see the byproduct of your hard work when it comes to test day, your resilience. So treat all of these as a challenge. Let your enthusiasm get you to the point where you get to go for gold, hold up the New York's flame, the present from France, Liberty, and make this a success, just like Hector with his schooling. Don't use this virus as an excuse to underperform. Spaghetti Bender. What do you say wrong, mate? What do you say wrong? Or is it render? Every time I see someone has got in trouble, well done. Lauren has stepped in and kicked someone's ass there. I don't know what they did or said, but she's always on the ball. Lauren, do you actually get to enjoy the streams, or do you like sitting back and policing the comments, waiting for someone to go outside the constraints, so to speak, that try to pollute sometimes what the community, which is in the trenches with Kaz community, which is fantastic. Grumpy, yeah, mate, was that you? I was having a FaceTime psychologist appointment. Okay, that's fine. I hope it went well too, mate. These are very testing times for some. Hi, Kaz. Haven't caught a vid in a long time. Hope all is well. Did you have some issues with your account? I did, mate. The account got hacked. It got sold to an Asian who was streaming on it the same day that they stole it. And because of our conservative nature, YouTube did nothing to bring it back. So we lost over 530 videos. And some of those videos, it still upsets me when I think about the bayonet, when I think about the PTSD, when I think about the poetry, when I think about where I started from, all the videos that I forgot that I'd made. Sometimes Lauren and I will be speaking and you just go, oh, no, that one's gone too. And then people go, why didn't you back it up? You go, well, I honestly believe what they said. Be careful what you do because if it goes online, you can never get it off again. It's there forever. Bullshit. If the left doesn't want it, they'll take it off. They'll find a way to get rid of it. And that happens on YouTube all the time. Jaden Anderson, what are you doing, mate? You're making yourself look like a clown here. Flipping back, folks. Be nice. Stop being. Yeah, this is not a time for people to be dicks. This is here as a gift, so to speak, a distraction from our lives to allow us to come together, answer questions, allow you, if you're by yourself, to be able to reach out and talk about something that you want to communicate about. This is not the place to show immaturity. That's for me. Bruce M. It is exciting to be here on live stream rather than a replay. Bruce, it's great to have you here too, mate. Your names just become like engraved in my head as soon as I see it. It's like, here comes old friend. Here his name again. Snuffles. Well, nearly back to 4,000 subs. So not doing bad. Look, to tell you the truth, mate, I'm actually pretty happy. I am pretty happy. Paddy Irish, how you going, mate? And you do that well, Kaz. I am a child at heart. It took me more than 40 years to mature. I'm quite happy with 4,000 subscribers nearly. I'm happy with it. Because I see so many channels. I used to take a little bit at heart to heart when you see that you've got 200,000 views for a couple of months, but still only 4,000 subscribers. You're going, well, team, it's pretty selfless what we do here to help others. You think that people would go, oh, okay, it can't hurt to subscribe. But, at the end of the day, I see a lot of channels that are a lot better than mine, a lot more sophisticated, that have less subscribers. Well, I always think, what's it going to look like in 10 years? Maybe it'll be hacked again. Every 4 years, we'll lose everything. The law of averages. I couldn't lose a channel and then just go, this is not fair, after I've told you guys to be resilient, how to rebuild yourselves, how I'm saying I get knocked down, but I get up again. And then all of a sudden, not get back up again. I need you guys as my distraction, to be honest. I'm projecting here. You're not alone. I'm really saying I'm not alone. Trent Holiday, Kaz, have you ever cried during basic? No. Or did you know guys who broke down a little? No, not really. If so, were those guys treated? Mate, there is no sympathy if you break down. Okay, there's only the only time I've ever seen people break down was there was soldiers that I back squatted for dangerous practices for live fires by night that happened at the School of Infantry, and I was like, I am not confident for that guy to lock and load live rounds, be within 5 meters of his buddies at night under night vision capability, with overhead gunfire moving down into the engagement area. And that's where I made the call, stop, unload, you're back squatted as of now. There's nothing you can do to fix yourself. And a couple of times some of those guys found exposed in the dark, had a bit of a cry, or injured, and got upset when they were going to be moved away from their brothers. But we can't be showing weakness, mate. There is no room for emotion, when you're on the pump. There's none. Because if you do that, the house of cards can fall, and you've got to remember you're always being watched when you're a soldier. Your bosses will see you. Okay, you don't want civilians to see you. I'll give you one. He's an officer. He's an officer at the moment. I won't say what his name is, but we had to carry our packs in East Timor, and there was an American that was coming past us. He was one of my soldiers, young bloke, and his pack was cutting into his arm, because you wear your packs on your front, because when you get on the plane or the helicopter, and I'm not talking about the Black Hawk, NRH-90s or anything like that. I'm talking about the one that could hold nearly 100 people, that had Russian people in underpants as their loadmasters. And he had tears coming out of his eyes and this grimace on his face, like he'd found sexual pleasure, And I saw the American look at him like, Jesus. So when we got out of the way, gave him a bit of a slap in the face, said, you need to grow up, son. You need to harden up a little bit. You can't be seen to be crying in front of another soldier at the same time. If you were giving, I had some tears when I was getting out of the army. And when I was standing up at the lectern, giving my see you later speech, because I wanted to stay in the army forever. But not when it's doing something physical. Hey, mate, finally got you. Got my assessment session coming up. What are your thoughts on clearance divers? Hard work. Hard work. You're going to do some real hard work. The water ain't that clear like you'd expect. And remember that De Gelder got chomped by a shark. He's the best clearance diver story. I think it'd be fantastic. I just don't know where you'd ever get tested, really. I'd much rather you get in to the Australian Army and then go and be a commando. With 14 days isolation required for interstate travel, will selection board interviews in April, May require us to enter interstate? No, 2 weeks prior for the interview. You shouldn't be going in. Look, it's for work, Ed. That's all for work. You'll be allowed to do it, mate. You'll have a special dispensation that allows you to do that. Essential travel is still allowed. And when they say that this is for military testing, etc., or military enlistment, whatever, whether it be U session, assessment session, etc., that's to be an essential service individual. They'll definitely go, yeah, no worries. I can't believe the people that have just got in the military, just some of them have come from the private sector, have really, really just dodged a bullet, so to speak. Going from the private sector where you don't know what your tomorrow is going to look like, and now they're going to a government job, and they're laughing. They're going to go in there. They're all about mobilisation. We don't know when we become I believe. I'm going to put my hand on my heart now. Where is it, Stoddy? Okay. I'm going to put my hand on my heart, and I'm going to tell you the army will be mobilised. Whether it's Army Reserve or whether it's regular army or whether it's both, I believe it definitely will be to take some of the strain off the police force that is going to move away from their normal jobs into coronavirus. Oops, I said it. Into the enforcement of that. So I believe they'll be out there, not a weapon, but assisting in domestic duties as a last line of defence. I believe they'll be doing that because they're already getting paid. Don't send them home. If they get sick, guess what? They get sick. You're a soldier. If you're ready to go to war, okay, you're ready to go for coronavirus as your enemy. Yep. So if you're in the military, you'd also be a goddamn idiot. I'll say it to you straight. If you're in the army, or you're in the Air Force, or you're in the Navy, or you're in the police force, okay, sorry, JC, and you have a choice and you still choose to get out now, you're a goddamn idiot because you are leaving the safety, at the moment that is going to be there potentially permanently for you, and you're leaping into the fire, so to speak. So please reconsider. It doesn't matter who wants you to leave. Don't listen to them. Stay in there. Job security. The economy is going to be the most devastating time since the First and Second World War. So stick with something that's going to look after you and your family. This is going to be a time for sacrifices for people. It really is. And we don't know who it's going to be yet. And this is going to get a hell of a lot worse. Believe me. This is going to shape a nation. It's going to change enterprise. It's going to build enterprise. It's going to take some away. But one thing it will do is take away the innocence of a nation. Mr. Patterson, Timmy Doust, stay in that brotherhood, guys. You've got to stay in there. You've got to. Ripple my nipple. That is one of the most, what would we call it? Image-provoking names I've seen yet. What do you got to say, mate? Can the military invade the meat markets as a peace mission instead of overlooking the oil and poppy fields? Let me tell you something there, Ripple the nipple. I also put my hand on my heart and say this. The chances of getting Australian troops into another country now, after this, I believe, is Buckley's. Buckley's. Air Force, maybe? Potentially. Some special force, but I doubt it. Australia is going to, I believe, all the blood's going to rush back to the major organs. And I can't see a reason that could possibly get us to go overseas anymore. And it definitely won't be to help another religion. Definitely won't. We're seeing an absolute shit fight that's happening over where we're in the places we've formerly been. There's no reason to go back there again. We learnt our lesson with Somalia. We learnt our lesson with Rwanda. Now we've learnt our lesson in multiple places in the Middle East. You know what? Fix your shit up. Fix it up. And like we said, for those that weren't here for the start, I think what the world needs to do now is turn around and say to China, you're not tough enough to say no to us for starters. We're taking communism off you. And the way we're going to do that is by an information package that's going to come over. And if that means that leaflet drops are over China, so when they finally come out of their hibernation, they come out and it looks like a ticker tape parade where everything in their language is telling them you're being lied to. Maybe this is a concerted effort to overthrow the Western capitalism. I don't know. Who saw that Chinese woman that was coughing all over the food and got arrested? That was crazy. Tribalism is going to become a normal thing again soon. I can feel it. I hope not. I hope we get an answer real soon to this situation. And my heart goes out to those that are suffering in one way or another. But I think the worst days are yet to come. I'm in the Army Cadets. Okay. Yep. Trained. Choo-choo! Are you gonna follow progression? You're gonna go to Army Reserve or regular Army after that, or are you gonna call it quits after cadets? Timmy Doust, make Rhodesia great again. No thanks. I don't think Rhodesia was ever great. Bruce M, Mr. Pat, I remember Rhodesia. There you go. I remember when they wanted people to get out of the army to go over to Rhodesia. Yeah. And people did. Trent, what firearm drills are included in the basic training of Kapuka? Well, Kapuka now does combat shooting using the EF88, which is the combat shooting package, and apparently it's pretty bloody good. Pretty bloody good. I feel bad for the people who have lost their jobs and are waiting in line for Centrelink for 3 hours. Joshy Jackman, this is, I don't even know how to consider that. As a guy, I put myself in the position where I think if I was living from pay to pay at the moment, and I hope this doesn't trigger anyone, make them feel, oh, shit, that's me. To be in that situation and to look at a family and have no job security or a lost job now, through no fault of your own, you're a hard working class man or working class woman, and then you get told don't come back in, and you're about to get your last pay for that, your severance pay, and the rent is due. Guess what? I'm not paying. I'm not paying the rent. Not when it means that I won't have food for tomorrow, for my kid, for my missus. But then they're going to go, well, now I can't pay my repayments. And then the bank is going to go, where's your money for that? And you go, where's the protection at the moment that's happening for people in this act of God? Where is it? We don't want people ending up with the banks making out like there's a good guy, like Anna Bligh, you goddamn traitor. You know, oh, yeah, the banks are going to come and they're going to give you stimulus, they're going to give you this, but you'll pay it back later, we'll just extend your loan. How about you just give some money back or just say you're not going to pay for this? Big deal if it costs a few $1 billion to the bank. You're going to get it back off us. Don't make it sound like you've given us a bloody hand job in a blackout and we're supposed to appreciate it. How can you go from the Premier of a state to them working for the banks, you know, on millions of dollars a year? You lost your soul drinking from the poison chalice. Plastic face, bitch. Regular Army, possible Special Forces. A lot's going to change between now and then, mate. Stoddy, medic! Maybe drop some pamphlets over China that say, stop eating bats and aardvarks. I don't reckon that's what caused it. They've eaten trillions of those and it's never done anything. Remember, the Wuhan province has already had multiple times where class 4 agents have actually got out of containment. I don't think it's hard to do the mathematics and understand. And there's a video that I'm about to watch downstairs where it's saying there's 21 million phones in China that aren't working at the moment, where they're just... So I don't know what the hell's going on there. I'll check it out, bud. Imagine that. China, we're taking communism off you. I love their food, bud. I wish we could buy MSG and sign something off where you go, I take responsibility for what I put on my food, because you used to be able to get the shakers like pepper and salt where you could... So every bit of your food looked like a barbecue shape. Now I'm getting hungry. I've got less in my cupboard than old Mother Hubbard at the moment. They can stop the millions giving money overseas. Look after home first. It's a tough one, man. It's a real tough one, because when I said that, then I felt guilty because I thought, look how much help came with our bushfires from overseas. You know, we can't be receiving that, and before we've even the banks have made interest on those payments, then turn around and say, you know, fuck everyone else. We're in this together, but countries aren't going to be able to help each other. We've seen Spain is just jackknifing and now catching up with Italy. Every day I go through the figures and it's just breaking my heart to think how many families are crying and losing people. And you know that there's going to be another that many tomorrow. It's so horrible. Kaz, over in Beijing, this is Democracy Manifest. Kaz, over in Beijing. This is Democracy Manifest. I'm not sure if I'm short of IQ or whether I don't understand the context of what you're saying there. But Andrew, can you simplify it a little bit more for me in a longer comment? Because it sounds interesting, mate. You're actually in Beijing at the moment. I started thinking about Mongolian lamb when you said that. Succulent Chinese meal. Oh, I love it. Do you guys all know how to do velvet steak, velvet chicken, velvet seafood? I tell you, man, and girls, you get your food and you put egg whites on it, and then you put some corn flour on it and some salt. You let it sit for 20 minutes, stir it around so it looks like Harvey Weinstein's had his time with it, and then you boil it off. Boil it off so it's just brown. Right? It's just going that grey colour, not chicken, of course. And then you cook it in the wok. Oh, that's how you get it to taste exactly like it is from the Chinese restaurants. I learned how to do that about 2 years ago. Ladies, you don't want to come and let me cook for you. You'll never want to leave. I can cook toast. I can cook all sorts of stuff now. I had to start cooking toast because I couldn't find it in the shops. I don't know what aisle it's in. Hopefully the government is going to have a good hard look at the fact we need to have products of national security made exclusively in Australia. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think now what's going to happen is, especially the USA, I think they're going to become a major producer of medical goods. You've got another 4 years of the Orange Man, Sir Cheeto, Donald Trump. You've got another 4 years of him, and I reckon that this is going to light a fire under his ass, and this will never happen again. You know who this is sad news for? China. I think Australia needs to have a divorce, and I think we need to pull ourselves back from the brink, and we need to do something about Chinese ownership of Australian assets, including the ports like places like Newcastle. Kaz, I'm out of food. Kaz, I'm out. Food arrived, Mediterranean lamb and baked pumpkin. That sounds amazing. Oh, Jesus. I can't see whether another comment came in there. Tim, we're going to get out of here so that Mr. P can get his rest. Mr. P, I'm 100% with you in that. Was Mr. P, what's he saying? Government has to stop selling Australia. Absolutely. This is what a lot of people may not know, especially younger ones, that when you see people that are married to someone from Thailand, someone from Philippines, someone from Japan, someone from, you name it, Asian countries, you're not allowed to own land over there as a white man whose funky cold Medina is being with an Asian lady. For whatever reason, you're not allowed to buy that land. You can do it through her, but then if you break up, she gets to keep it. You can't buy a bar over there unless she is the conduit, where she actually is the one whose name is down and you're going through her. And again, if you break up, you lose it. Yet we allow anyone to come into our country to buy something, to build dams on there to stop the natural flow of rivers, right? And then to do whatever they want with it. And then the money goes back overseas through other banks that they've put in Australia that is a funnel straight back to their country. It doesn't make sense at all. We need to stop that shit. Yeah. But it seems like those built on Christian values, and I don't necessarily mean you just believe in God, you just believe in Jesus, etc. But those that are based around the 10 Commandments, doing the right thing by thy neighbour, etc., it seems like no matter what we do or say, it's wrong. And we need to stop that. And if you call it tribalism, you can call it what you want. But if the shoe fits and it's good for your country, let's stop degrading the hard work that's been done. And let's not make anyone feel bad about what they do and what they have now. Because remember that when the first fleet came over here, we had people getting executed for stealing a loaf of bread during a famine. So they didn't have an easy time. And they didn't even expect Australia to work out. It was almost like a project. But the resilience, tenacity of those that came here, based on a lot of sacrifice and toil, we got ahead. We'll get over this, but it's just what's the price? What's the price? And who's going to pay the most? I can't believe they're considering letting prisoners out. What better place to have prisoners than in the prison? They're already in quarantine. Common sense, please, people. Great stream, Kaz. Would love to talk to you more about this over the phone sometime. How about you send me a message tomorrow, Snowy? Let's talk tomorrow, mate. Will. Hey, Kaz, will the ADF let me in if I have experimented with marijuana? If you say you've experimented with marijuana, they'll say no. So don't say that you've experimented with marijuana. It's not a confession session. You're not going to the FBI. You're not going to the Australian Police Force. You've never tried it, have you? You've never tried it. Don't try it. Yeah. Okay, we've all got to go. Let's get out of here. Team, you're going to wake up to more bad news tomorrow. You're going to. But I'm going to have the videos down here. I'm going to put the distractions there. Subscribe right now. Like the video. We're on 50 likes now. Let's get some more likes up there so YouTube allows us to be seen, because there's a hell of a lot of people out there like this thumbnail that think they're alone. Let's invite them into the community. Let's be that little area, that escape that they can go to with a coffee from the kids, so they can just go, oh, Jesus Christ, I just need some time out. Let's give that to them. So whack the likes there. Let's have a good night's sleep. And to everyone, please remember, you're not alone. We're going through this together. Just some of us are going to get burnt sooner than others. Take it easy. This is the fight of our lifetime. Take it easy. That's Kaz. Thanking everyone that donated their time, their resources, and also their patience. Thank you to our moderators for assisting me every time. Right? And to all your families, give them a hug, and use a little bit of effort. And remember, what we do to think about someone else means we're not thinking about ourselves. If you're not thinking about yourself, then depression keeps away. Take it easy. Okay. But there's a demon under your bed.